Okay. So, since I decided to dedicate the better part of 2 years of my life to this,
and a consultation for a follow-up video on a completely separate person's channel that is still actively being worked on. Don't worry about it, it'll be out when it's out.
I feel like I have
as much of a right to weigh into this as anyone. That's the rules! I made an hour-long video about a song that doesn't exist. I get to make a video about something that potentially threatens its existence. That's the deal! Thanks to an article written yesterday by Adam Newell for Destructoid, Toby Fox has confirmed that he's not going to be including Fandom Darling and Ruining of My Life Forever and Yours, Penumbra Phantasm, into Deltarune. Right? No songs composed for Homestuck or primarily containing Homestuck music will be used in Deltarune. That was the wording. It's pretty open and shut, right? Right? Look, I don't want to say Mr. Robert Vulpes is blatantly lying here, but the problem is he already has used songs composed for Homestuck or primarily containing Homestuck music in Deltarune. Off the top of my head, there are already 2 songs alone that were originally meant for Homestuck. Sans, but that doesn't count. That was already in Deltarune. I wasn't done. Sans and April 2012. We know this thanks to its inclusion in a What Pumpkin GitHub page. What Pumpkin being the production company for Homestuck itself. A counterpoint. He may have meant that in the future he won't add any more unused Homestuck songs into Deltarune, or outright take them out in the official release of the game come June 4th, but he's already said he's not going to be touching the first 2 chapters anymore, and, well, the second part of that statement is also blatantly false. The Holy is basically a rework of Penumbra's leitmotif, and probably so is Once Upon a Time. Check out my full Penumbra Phantasm documentary for more info. I've seen some speculation already floating around in my channel's Discord server about this, so I think it comes down to 3 things. And yes, I know that spending this amount of time analyzing a single sentence in an article that wasn't about this at all is kind of absurd, but come on, this is me we're talking about here. My last video was about Jeff Earthbound. 1, he meant about in the future going forward, which as of now we're just gonna have to wait about a week and see if that's the case. 2, he's either outright bluffing or he's just trying to keep people from speculating too much about it, which, like, fair. We won't be forgetting Deltarune tomorrow so soon. An overhyped fanbase is liable to cannibalize itself from within, and a widely swinging pendulum of theories can certainly, and most definitely has, contributed. Personally, though, my favorite theory is the most obvious and the funniest, which would be number 3, he forgore. It's not like he's not allowed to change his mind on this sort of thing either in favor of or for against having Homestuck songs in Deltarune. I am, because I am myself, obligated to remind you that he originally wanted to release the entirety of the game together before going, let's not, and dropping Chapter 2 all on its own for the benefit of everyone who has ever lived. That still doesn't change the fact, though, that this statement just obviously isn't true if you actually sit down and think about it and know literally anything about the history of Deltarune's soundtrack. Would Penumbra not releasing in Deltarune be a shame? Yeah, of course, but it's not like I would be devastated, and that's because even taking this article at face value, it's already in Deltarune to some extent. It's woven into the soundtrack, and at this point, he would have to modify or outright replace a noticeable handful of songs in just the first 2 chapters if he's really being serious about no Homestuck music. Even if this isn't some big brain 5D chess move, which I really highly doubt that it is. Penumbra Phantasm is most likely in the first song you hear when you ever play Undertale. And it's in the song you hear when you pull up the file menu after completing a chapter. I could go on about how it's debatable if this counts if you really like semantics, seeing as before the story was originally added as a PlayStation 4 menu theme, but at that point we all, and by we all I mean me all, might as well start drafting another absurdly long video about this thing, and to be frank, I have art fight references to finish drawing. So, I guess the answer is, we'll see, and I'm going to continue to believe that Penumbra is going to keep showing up in the soundtrack, at least for the foreseeable future. Either as some sort of audible Simon Says where Toby just forgore a number of Deltarune songs just by sharing lay motifs with Undertale all on its own, already have Penumbra in them to some capacity. God, the way I talk about this song sometimes sounds like it's the auditory definition of a meme. Yes, let's take this unit of information in the soundtrack and transmit it through repeated action. Propagate that shit. Do you remember Long Cat, Jane? This fucking song is going to be stuck in my brain forever like loose change under a couch, isn't it? It's my own damn fault, really. And to address the people who have already reached out to me personally about this, no, I'm not devastated by this article's existence. For one, I really think it's a shame that a single sentence in this thing was able to overshadow the musings of a man who was very clearly excited out of his gourd to talk to someone he looked up to. It's easy to think of many Japanese companies as fantastical and faceless, but they are made up of ordinary people living their lives. It's not as if the real Mario knows who I am. Watching him eat spaghetti through the window, I take out a photograph of a baby wearing a red cap. I give it a long glance before sighing, putting it back in my pocket as I walk away. But I'll always remember who you are. Where did you begin to come up with your ideas for the music? Shower. He saw the chance to get paid to fanboy and sprinted, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for it. Again, sorry to everyone who's already messaged me about this article. I just think Toby forgore. I don't know. I realize that this video basically amounts to me sprinting into a newsroom, still trying to put a Windsor knot into my tie and going, actually, but genuinely, I really don't think this is as big of a deal as some people want me to make it out to be. Working on that Penumbra Phantasm video took up a good chunk of my life for the past 2 years, sure, but it wasn't all of my life. And even if you want me to take this thing at complete face value, having the song itself referenced in the article, on the computer version, is hilarious to me. Like, hello Destructoid article, why are you referencing a song the wider Deltarune fandom knew nothing about 6 months ago? Could it be because two completely separate people on the internet decided to release hour-long videos on the subject independently of each other, and therefore immediately boosting public awareness about it? In some way, I helped cause this. Why wouldn't this be funny to me? Oh no! The video that was explicitly about appreciating Homestuck's influence on Toby Fox's work caused people to appreciate Homestuck's influence on Toby Fox's work. How awful! I'll never be able to show my face on YouTube.com again. Sorry, I don't really know what you expected here. There's no copium to consume if you spend any time actually thinking about this beyond its face value. You can think either way you want about this news, because to me, it literally cancels itself out. And honestly, either way you slice it, I already got what I wanted out of this. Even if this isn't some sort of misdirection, that doesn't take away any of the love and effort that myself and fellow Pen fans have poured towards this song in the absurdly long stretch of time we've had since it first became known to us. Nobody's going to forget about this song now. Not me. Not you. And for better or for worse, not Toby Fox. And I couldn't be happier about it. Okay, but what was that thing you said about the door in the last video? Not my problem anymore. Next video is going to be about Choso Kamo. Probably video over now. Bye! Okay, it is hot as fucking here, and I can't have the fan on when I record, so I guess we're just gonna have to try to do this in as little takes as possible. I'm sorry, sir. It looks like it's terminal. He's got Penumbra Phantasm brainworms. He had so much to live for. Ah!